I used to like a journalist at Post Media called Tristin Hopper. I liked him because he was a bit quirky in an industry that is full of completely flavorless, interchangeable, think-alike leftist drones. I didn't always agree with Hopper, but at least he was different. Here's a funny tweet he made showing off a giant Rice Krispie square that he made. All right, that's funny. He's contrarian. I wouldn't call him right-wing, but he was contrarian. Here he is criticizing government handouts to the state broadcaster. I mean, he's with a company that's taking the Trudeau bailout, but still. And here he is calling out environmentalists. Okay, so there's some independent thinking. Pretty good. He made me laugh sometimes. I like eccentrics. I'm glad I'm not the only one. That Rice Krispie thing was really funny. Imagine actually making a giant Rice Krispie square as a grown-up, like you don't have kids doing it with you as a lark. It's funny. But all of a sudden it got really weird really quick. Look what Tristin Hopper tweeted just the other day. Romantic night with wife cut short by having to kick a potentially rabid raccoon to death. Randomly attacked a pedestrian. You just kicked to death a raccoon? Did it really need to be kicked to death? I'm a Torontonian now. We have so many raccoons in this city. It's actually the mascot for the Toronto airline called Porter. Raccoons are gross, and they're usually not scared of people, which is scary. Really? Did this raccoon really just keep attacking and attacking and attacking, and it wouldn't stop when you shouted at it or even kicked it once? You had to, like it had a death wish. It just kept attacking you until you literally had to kick it to death? Really? And then you posted a picture of that heroically or something? So gross. I think that might be blood there. And a rock, I don't know, used by Hopper, I don't know. Looks like a pretty staged photo. I don't see any blood on the shoe, but maybe he kicked it with his other foot. I don't know. But if it's dead, why is your foot still on top of it? What's going on here? Is this like a trophy shot, like a hunter would take? Why are you pushing down on the carcass of a dead raccoon and boasting about it to the world? And hang on. He tweeted another picture right afterwards. It's a picture taken by someone else of him taking the first picture. So that's pretty carefully timed. It's staged. And then that second photographer would have to share the photo with Hopper. So this was a project. Sounds like a family thing maybe. I mean, here's what he wrote. He said, and that's Dad with the machete we used to finish it off. So did he beat the raccoon to death? And then, or was it stabbed? And then he took a photo of the dead carcass under his foot as if it were still alive and had someone else take a photo of him taking a photo. And then he said his dad took out a machete, chop off its head or something, or stab it, even though it's already dead. I thought you said you kicked it to death. And you're all proudly posing like you're heroes and saying your father used a machete to finish it off. What, a machete that he just happened to have on him? You said this was a romantic evening with your father along and the machete. Did he go back to the house? Was it that long a thing? And he went back to the house to get a machete that he had in the house? And the whole thing is later staged for a photo op with not one but two camera angles. Maybe the whole thing's a joke. I mean, it's hard to tell if that raccoon was actually dead. Looking at the photo again, it's hard to see how much bodily damage was done to it. Maybe the whole thing's a joke, like the Rice Krispie square. Maybe they just found a dead raccoon and thought it would be funny to make up a story. That would explain the photo and the photo of the photo and maybe the machete. But who would brag about killing an animal and would think that would make them some online heroes? Who would do that? Oh, and by the way, he went on in about 10 other tweets to defend himself, so I don't think it was a joke. Who's the weirdo? Who's obsessed with dead animals? And generally being a sicko like this. Look. My favorite Ontario government webpage, rules for keeping a dead wild animal. Oh my God, that's you? That's Tristin Hopper? Is that really? your favorite web page? Here's another one. He's retweeting news about a baby animal. You hear that, Yukoners? See a baby animal? Tempted to pick it up or save it? Please don't. Well, you sure think about that a lot, don't you? A biology question. Do animals with penis bones suffer erectile dysfunction? You think about animals sexually and you talk about it, you normalize it. That's weird. More morbid, the better for dates. I like visiting gross medical museums. They're always filled with dates. I think he means a romantic date, taking a romantic date somewhere sick and gross. Are you joking? Is this the joking part? Or is this like the dead raccoon part? You like gross things. You like dead things. That's what morbid means. Morbid means sick, you know. While the rest of you were selling your teeth to the tooth fairy for rock bottom rates, I kept mine because they're gross and awesome. Boy, you're like 30 and you've kept your teeth since you've kept them. You've probably moved 10 times since you were a child. You've taken your teeth with you. As national animals go, I do believe bison is by far the most delicious. Bald eagles are stringy. Beavers are too tough. I'm sure he's joking. I mean, that's probably a joke, right? I mean, it's not like this guy thinks about dead animals a lot and just beat a raccoon to death so proudly. The coda to almost every bear in the pool, deer downtown, bobcat on roof story, the animal is almost certainly killed. I guess this guy really does think about dead animals a lot. The mayor of New York, the one who banned carriages on animal rights ground, killed a groundhog. That last one, it's true, but it was an accident. Bill de Blasio was doing the Groundhog Day tradition, and it literally jumped or fell or slipped out of his hands by accident, and it died by accident. Far from bragging about it, de Blasio was deeply embarrassed. His political enemies used that photo against him tongue-in-cheek. No one's actually accusing de Blasio of cruelty to animals, certainly not on purpose, certainly not bragging about it. It was supposed to be a press conference. Tristin Hopper boasts about killing and beating them to death. Look, I'm not dainty when it comes to animals. I love eating meat. I support the beef industry. I think some vegetarians have a thoughtful reason for being vegetarian, but I'd say most of them do it as some sort of moral preening, some way of pretending to be noble in the world that's easier and cleaner than, say, actually helping a real homeless person or doing something actually charitable. I think vegetarianism is mainly fake. I support the use of animals in ranching. I support fur. I'm not gleeful about the death of animals. I've never met a farmer or rancher who is. Most hunters have a much deeper respect for animals than do people who've never set foot in the wild. Anyone who cares about Aboriginal people must support fishing and hunting and leather. I do. And I sure don't like raccoons. But that raccoon stomping was not a de Blasio accident, and it wasn't a humane choice to eat meat or a humane choice to farm or hunt ethically. I'm sorry, it's the expression of a weirdo, a sicko, who has an obsession with weird things, gross things, an obsession with animals that is creepy. I used to like reading what Tristin Hopper wrote, what he wrote for the National Post, which is, I used to work for them too. I like that paper. But that's no excuse for his being a creep. I don't want to read his stuff anymore. I don't want to read anything that creep writes. I can't separate him from his work anymore. As a journalist, you know, he holds himself up higher than you and me, that's for sure. Here he is, trashing our little company, our media ethics. No connection to anything. He was just using our name, The Rebel, as a byword for poor journalism. He wrote, "Good Lord, this is some terrible newsing, like The Rebel bad." I don't even know what you're talking about, buddy. But hey, Tristin, I don't really think I'm going to use your moral code or your sense of judgment or your common sense as a guide for anything, ever. I think you take too much glee in killing things you don't have to kill and boasting about it That eccentricity of yours, yeah, it's more than just Rice Krispie squares. You're sick in the head, mate. For the Rebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant. Hey, if you like that video and want some more independent journalism that's not as creepy as Tristin Hopper's, click like and subscribe.